Every morning, at precisely 10 minutes past 6, Ayaan would find himself by his small window, holding a cup of tea that was always just a bit too hot to drink. He wasn't a morning person, not really. But that was the exact time she passed by. Her name was Elara. She walked the same road every single day, clutching a faded blue notebook, with headphones in, her eyes lost somewhere between dreams and reality. She never once noticed Ayaan watching from his window, and somehow, that made her even more special to him. Ayaan wasn't lonely because he had no one around. He was lonely because he had too many thoughts he could never speak aloud. So, he wrote. He wrote letters he knew he would never send. "Dear someone," one began, "if you ever happen to read this, I hope life has been kinder to you than it has been to me." He would fold these letters carefully and tuck them away in an old wooden box he kept hidden under his bed. One evening, the sky was a breathtaking canvas of orange and pink, as if it was trying to whisper something beautiful before the night fell quiet. Feeling a pull, Ayaan went to the small park near his house. It was the kind of park where dreams often came to visit, and just as often, left without a sound. And that's when he saw her. Elara was sitting on a bench, her shoulders shaking as she cried softly, a familiar blue notebook resting on her lap. Ayaan froze. This wasn't the distant, dreamy girl from the morning walks. This was someone hurting, someone real. He felt a desperate urge to say something, anything. But as always, fear's voice was louder than his own. So, he did the only thing he could. He sat on the bench opposite her and, without a word, gently placed a small, folded piece of paper beside her. She looked up first at the note, and then at him, her eyes questioning. The note simply said, "You don't have to be strong all the time. Even the sky cries sometimes." Elara read it once, then a second time. A small, watery smile broke through her tears. "Thank you," she whispered. It was the first time she had ever spoken to him, and in that single moment, the entire world felt a little lighter. After that evening, days turned into weeks. They started meeting at the park. Not every day, but often enough for it to matter. Their conversations weren't about grand ambitions or life-changing plans. They talked about the small things, about how the sound of rain can feel safer than silence, how some songs seem to understand us better than people ever could. They talked about how broken things, in their own way, can still be beautiful. One afternoon, Elara turned to him and asked, "Why do you always write?" Ayaan thought for a moment before answering. "Because words stay when people leave." Elara nodded, a look of understanding on her face. "I write," she said, "because words help me breathe." One night, the entire city was plunged into darkness by a power outage. The sky, free from the city's glow, was ablaze with stars. They lay on the cool grass, just looking up at the spectacle above. "Do you think stars remember the names of the people who believe in them?" Elara asked quietly. Ayaan smiled into the darkness. "I think the sky writes the names of people who are kind, even when no one is watching." She turned her head to look at him. "What if one day we stop meeting?" Her voice was soft. Ayaan's reply was even softer. "Then we'll exist in each other's stories, and stories never really end." A few weeks later, Elara didn't show up at the park. One day passed, then another. A knot of anxiety tightened in Ayaan's chest. On the third day, he went to their spot and found a letter tucked under the bench. It was from her. "Life is taking me somewhere far away," it read. "But you changed something in me. I no longer feel invisible. Promise me you'll keep writing, and keep smiling at the mornings." Ayaan stood there, clutching the letter, his heart feeling both heavy and incredibly warm at the same time. Years went by. Ayaan kept his promise. He became a writer. His very first book was titled "The Day the Sky Wrote Her Name." At his book launch, standing amidst the crowd, was a woman holding a faded blue notebook. Their eyes met across the room. No words were needed. Some stories don't begin with a loud crash. They begin softly, with a quiet whisper, and they stay with you forever. Some people enter your life like a sentence, short, simple, yet unforgettable.